What if I told you that the most important power-up in Demon Slayer isn't a sword technique, but a scar? Not just any scar. The mark on Tanjiro Kamado's forehead. At first glance, it looks like a simple injury. A burn. A battle wound. Something cosmetic. But that mark carries history, legacy, and a connection to powers that existed long before Tanjiro ever picked up a blade. Today, we're breaking down the hidden symbolism behind Tanjiro's scar in Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, and why it might be one of the most important visual clues in the entire story. Let's dive in. To understand the scar, we need context. Tanjiro Kamado, the heart of Demon Slayer. Kimetsu no Yaiba starts his journey as a kind-hearted charcoal seller whose family is slaughtered by demons. After that tragedy, he trains to become a demon slayer under Sekonji Urokodaki. From episode 1, we see a mark on his forehead. At first, we're told it's just a burn from shielding his younger brother from falling hot charcoal. Simple explanation. But as the series progresses, that scar changes. It evolves. Its shape sharpens. It becomes something else entirely. And that's where the symbolism begins. First, let's talk about what the scar literally represents. In the early arcs, Tanjiro's mark is just that. A scar. A reminder of sacrifice. He burned himself protecting someone weaker. That tells us everything about his character before he ever speaks. He takes pain for others. He absorbs suffering. He chooses protection over self-preservation. That's not accidental. In Japanese storytelling, physical marks often symbolize inner resolve. The scar isn't just backstory, it's identity. But then something interesting happens during the final selection and later battles. The scar transforms. After intense combat, particularly during high-stress life-or-death moments, it changes shape and becomes more flame-like. This shift isn't cosmetic. It's tied to the mysterious Demon Slayer mark. Now let's break that down. The Demon Slayer mark is a rare phenomenon that appears on certain elite swordsmen. It dramatically enhances physical ability, strength, speed, perception. But it comes at a cost. The mark is associated with pushing the human body beyond its natural limits. Historically, those who awaken it don't live long lives. So when Tanjiro's scar evolves into a mark resembling flames, it signals something huge. It connects him to a lineage of warriors who carried extraordinary power. And more importantly, it connects him to the origin of breathing techniques themselves. Here's where symbolism deepens. Tanjiro practices water breathing, calm, adaptive, fluid. But his father performed something called the Hinokami Kagura, a ritual dance tied to fire. Eventually, we learn this connects to sun breathing, the first and original breathing style. Fire imagery becomes central to Tanjiro's identity. And what does his mark resemble? Flames. The scar visually foreshadows his transition from water to sun, from adaptation to origin, from student to inheritor. This isn't random character design, it's narrative architecture. In Japanese folklore, fire has dual symbolism. It destroys, but it also purifies. Sun imagery, in particular, represents life, renewal, and divine energy. Japan itself is known as the land of the rising sun. So Tanjiro carrying a flame-like mark on his forehead, the center of thought, intention, and spirit, is symbolic of carrying divine will. Not destiny in a chosen one cliché way, but inherited will. There's a difference. Tanjiro wasn't born powerful. He trained, he struggled, he nearly died multiple times. The scar evolving into a mark shows earned power awakening, not fate handed down. Now let's talk about character motivation. Tanjiro's greatest strength isn't aggression, it's empathy. He understands demons, he mourns them, he smells sorrow. That matters. Because the sun-breathing lineage represents balance, not blind hatred. The scar's transformation parallels his emotional growth. As his resolve hardens, so does the mark's clarity. It becomes sharper, more defined, almost like his purpose solidifying. And here's something subtle. The mark activates under extreme conditions, usually when Tanjiro is protecting someone. Again, protection. The scar began as an act of protection. The awakened mark strengthens that same instinct. Beginning and evolution mirror each other. That's deliberate storytelling symmetry. Now let's connect this to power systems. Breathing styles in Demon Slayer aren't magic. They're advanced martial arts that optimize oxygen flow and muscle control. But the Demon Slayer mark pushes that concept further. It suggests that under extreme biological stress, the human body can transcend its normal state. High body temperature, accelerated heart rate, hyper-focus, almost like controlled self-destruction for the sake of victory. The scar becoming a mark signals Tanjiro crossing that threshold. He's no longer just a disciplined swordsman. He's tapping into something ancient, something primal, hidden detail time. If you look closely at early animation frames by Ufotable, the scar's color grading subtly changes during high-emotion scenes, even before it fully transforms. The animators use lighting to hint at its future significance. Also, in traditional Japanese theater, facial markings are used to symbolize spiritual power or lineage. Kabuki performers often paint flame-like patterns to represent heroic or supernatural characters. Tanjiro's evolving mark visually echoes that tradition. Another small detail, Tanjiro's Hanafuda earrings feature a rising sun design. Those earrings and the mark together create a visual pairing. Sun above, sun beside. Forehead and ears framing his face with solar symbolism. Nothing in this series is accidental. Now for a grounded theory. Tanjiro's scar may not have been purely accidental in the beginning. While the story states it was a burn injury, its placement and later evolution suggest that Tanjiro already carried dormant compatibility with the sun-breathing lineage. The injury may have acted as a catalyst. Not destiny forcing itself upon him, but trauma unlocking inherited potential. We see a similar pattern when other Slayers awaken their marks only after extreme battles. It's not random. It's triggered by surpassing human limitation. Tanjiro's life is a constant cycle of surpassing limits. So the scar becomes a visual record of growth. Every arc deepens its meaning. Short pause. Why does this matter? Because Demon Slayer isn't just about killing demons. It's about cycles, violence and compassion, hatred and mercy, sun and darkness. Tanjiro's scar symbolizes that balance. It starts as pain, it becomes power. But it never loses its origin. That's the key. Even at his strongest, Tanjiro remains the boy who burned himself protecting his brother. Power never erases kindness. The mark doesn't make him less human. It amplifies what was already there. And narratively, it sets up future arcs, where lineage, legacy, and inherited will become central themes. The scar is a breadcrumb, a quiet visual promise that Tanjiro's journey is tied to something much older than himself. Not because he's chosen, but because he chooses to carry it, over and over again. So the next time you watch Demon Slayer, pay attention to that mark. Notice when it changes, notice when it glows, notice when it doesn't. Because that scar isn't just character design, it's a symbol of sacrifice, of inherited flame, of a boy who turns pain into light. And here's the real question. If Tanjiro's scar represents the fire of inherited will, what happens when that fire finally burns at full strength? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoy deep anime breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe for more analysis on Demon Slayer and beyond. Because sometimes, the smallest details carry the biggest meaning.